Hey, what's up everyone? I hope you're well and keeping safe. In today's video, we will learn how to reverse a linked list. This is a very popular interview question, and many interviewers ask this question during interviews to get an idea of how well you know your data structures. A linked list is one of the most popular data structures used in software development, and knowing how to work with a linked list, reverse a linked list, is important not just from an interview point of view but also in our daily jobs as software engineers. So let's get started. A linked list is a data structure which consists of elements called nodes, and each node contains some piece of information called value or data, and it contains a reference to another node of the same type. The start of the linked list is usually called the head. The head points to the first node in the linked list. The first node in the linked list contains a reference to the second node. The second node contains a reference to the third node, and so on and so forth. Finally, the last node will not contain any reference to the next node, and its reference will contain a null. So in the example linked list here, and as you can see, the head points to the first node here. The first node contains the value 1, and it also points to the second node which contains the value 2. This goes on till the last element, which is number 5. The node with the number 5 does not point to any further nodes. In today's video, I'm going to explain an iterative approach to reverse a linked list. If you'd like me to make a video on the recursive approach, please let me know in the comment section. When we reverse this linked list, the node 5 will have a reference to node 4, and node 4 will no longer have a reference to node 5, but instead it will have a reference to node 3. Node 3 in turn will no longer have a reference to node 4, but will have a reference to node 2, and node 2 will no longer have a reference to node 3, but will have a reference to node 1. And node 1 will no longer have a reference to node 2, but it will have no reference at all, because that will be the new end of the list, and our head will be the start and point to the node 5. So the reversed linked list will look like this. To make it a little easier to understand, let's represent every node by a class called list node, and each list node element or object will contain an integer value and a reference to the next list node object. Now, since we want our first node to be the last node, we need to make it point to a null. So we will store a null inside of a new head and call it reverse. We will iterate to this entire list till the head is not null. Start the while loop by accessing the current node, and using the current node, we will access the next node. Once we have access to these both, we will make the next node point to the current node, and we will make the current node point to the new head, which is reverse. Once we have done this, we will then move the pointers so that reverse points to the head and head points to the next node. So we will hold a temporary node called next node, which will point to the node after the head. In this case, the next node will be the node 2. By accessing the next field on the object pointed by head, we can get access to the node after a given node. So with this line, the node 1 will point to null. We'll now move our new head, that is reverse, and make it point to this old head. Now we don't need our reference head to point to this reverse anymore. We'll move it one step and make it equal to the next node. At the end of first iteration, we have successfully made the first node the last node in the list. Now when we go to the second pass of this loop, we will make n point to head.next. So n will move on to node 3, and we'll make head's next node point to the new head. The next step is to move the new head or the reverse up one step. So we have it here, and finally the head will move here. By the end of the second pass, we have made the node 2 point to the node 1. Now let's do the third pass. In the third pass, we'll move n one step up by accessing the next here on the node reference by head, and we'll make the node reference by head point to the new head, which is reverse, and we'll move the new head reverse and make it equal to head. And the last thing, we'll update the head so that it references the next node. So by the end of this pass, we have made node 3 point to node 2. In the next pass again, we'll make n point to the node after head. We'll update head's reference to point to the new head, which is reverse, and we'll update reverse so that it is equal to head. And finally, we'll move head so that it is equal to the next node n. Now in the final pass, we'll make n equal to head.next, which is null. So n becomes null. Then we'll update the head's reference to point to the new head, which is reverse here. And we'll move reverse one step up, and finally we'll make head equal to n, which is null. That means we will no longer be executing this while loop next time. And now we can see that our new head reverse is pointing to the new start of this linked list, which means we have reversed this linked list, and you can simply return reverse. I hope this was helpful. I will provide the link to the source code in the description of this video. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.